Hey guys, it is.
Welcome to the Ben and Jay Show. It's not Six Flags, but it's still okay.
It definitely is Six Flags, Ben,
Six
because we
Flags is
have
a lot
the
of fun.
most amazing time here with our guests and our audience members, those individuals that are watching us today. But we're playing the Six Flags theme because there is a special announcement that Ben is going to get into. But we welcome you. This is, I don't know, episode what, 18, 20,
Yep.
24, Ben?
18,
I mean,
18,
we've been
18.
doing this for a long time, right?
Yep.
So it's great to be here. But before anything, let's pay these bills by saying that this webinar is made possible by Access Services. Access Services is a nonprofit organization serving 11 counties in eastern Pennsylvania with the mission to create better ways to serve people with special needs. They've been doing it for 44 years, and they are only getting better as they are expanding their services to bend and fit the needs of those in
Mhm.
eastern Pennsylvania. So, Ben, with that music that was playing, tell our audience what they could win tonight.
You know what, guys? It was it was a final decision for me tonight. And you know what? I wanted to thank my big sponsor, Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, the water park is not open, but the
Okay.
amusement park side is. And we are giving away 4 free tickets tonight to Dorney Park.
What?
So if anybody wants to
What?
go ride roller coasters, wee, wee,
Oh my
or
God.
ride the
Who wouldn't
town,
want to
ride
ride a
Steel
roller
Force.
coaster?
Steel Force is the best at the park. Um,
Who wouldn't want to ride the roller coasters? And most importantly, get to see Ben and ride the roller coasters with Ben. So
yes,
this is an
sir.
amazing prize.
And they're good till Labor Day. These tickets for Dorney Park, they're good till Labor Day. But
How's
yeah,
a
Perfect,
person
perfect.
win those?
someone's gonna win.
Exactly. Somebody's going to win them. So everybody stick around. At the end of the show, we're going to be picking a winner. Everybody who registered for this webinar is automatically entered in to get this prize and any prize that we actually have when it comes down to our show. So, Ben, for those who are new here in the audience, we would like to say thank you, but introduce yourself so they can understand who exactly is the mayor.
I just want to say thank you to my co-host Jamel Owens for doing 18 shows. You're the man. So my name is Ben Hartranft. I am the host, the man, the myth, the legend, the mayor, Mr. Ben Hartranft. They call me Benergy. I was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2, and I am the brains. Jamel over here
Yes.
is the muscle. So we do some different stuff. Um, I was diagnosed when I was 2. Doctors thought I had an hearing issue, so they took me to the doctor, and they thought everything was going to be okay. At 3, a child should only know 200 words, but I only knew 20. A speech therapist taught me how to talk. Her name was Paul Barson, and now today I just talk, and there's no off button on me. Um, and I went through many challenges. I learned how to drive. I was homecoming king. I was on Ellen,
There you go.
and I'm trying to get on more TV shows to support autism. And I really am excited about launching the show because it really is a great way of helping people understand about autism. And shout out to Marta Owens out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor, the man, the myth, the legend himself. And who he gave a shout out to is my wife, actually. So, shout out to
Ah,
my wife for tuning in. I appreciate you supporting me as always. And ladies and gentlemen, I am the J in the Ben and J. My name is Jamil Owens. I am a part of this conglomerate, this dynasty that we are building here called the Ben and Jay Show. And my sole purpose here is to really just bring in the parent, that father aspect.
Yep.
I started off, as many of you know, with my own personal show called The Awesome Show, which I still do have and I still do have on social media. And what my mission and goal was to is to focus on fathers, how they deal with their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts, their concerns when it comes to their child being diagnosed with the spectrum. I have had many amazing guests, many amazing fathers, rappers, you name it, has been on my show. But one person in particular that stuck out to me is my man, my guy, Ben Hartrath. Him and his father, Glenn, was on my show, and it was an amazing interview. So with that, fast forward, we always stay connected. And due to COVID-19, I was furloughed from my job. Ben was home working, but also home. And he called me up and said, "Hey, Jay, I want to make a show." Funny enough, I was thinking the same thing, but didn't know how to go about it. It's funny how God works in mysterious ways. And here we go. 18 shows later, I'm here with Ben and I'm building new connections. I'm expanding my horizons as far as all over the world. And I'm doing my purpose here, which is basically show the world love and show that you are not alone. So me and Ben, we're the yin and the yang. We're the Starsky and Hutch. Everything that you could imagine, that's us right here. So this is the Ben and Jay show. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget this Friday coming, the 21st.
Wait, next Friday? You mean next Friday? Wait, next Friday?
Next
What?
Friday.
Wait,
Next
what?
Friday,
What?
because today's Friday. But next Friday, me and Ben Hartrath, will be at Rita's in Montgomeryville from
Wait,
6
hold on
to
a minute.
9.
You're gonna be at Rita's? I didn't know that. Oh, I did know that. I'm sorry. I'm just playing around with you.
Listen, guys, come out, hang out with us. We're going to be asking questions. We're going to be giving away prizes. Most importantly, this is for the Eagles Autism Challenge. We love the Eagles Autism Challenge. We support them. Ben is an ambassador for them. So why not enjoy a pretzel, some water ice, and some real easy, loving conversation with us here at the Ben and Jay Show. It is from 6 to 9. We will be broadcasting, recording a lot of good footage for the Ben and Jay Show. So we cannot wait. We hope to see you guys there. What else we got announcements for, Ben? Because we got a lot of things coming up.
On September 10th, we are doing our first ever Come On Down! Our first game show night by our host, me, and our co-host, Jamel Owens. You're next contestant on the Price is Right game show. I'm just kidding.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first game night, Minute to Win It.
Yes, sir.
It's a game show fundraiser for the Ben and Jay Show. As you guys are out there and you are tuning in, we appreciate your time. There's nothing more valuable than time. Oh, there we go. We got the information up there. Is nothing more important than time. Unfortunately, with a nonprofit and everything that's going on in the world, we actually need help financially. And it's not an unfortunate thing because we have so many things that we will be bringing to the forefront as far as the autism community. But we need your help. So this is one great way in order for businesses, just everyday people, parents, anybody who associates themselves with the autism community to support the Ben and Jay Show. Is going to be a great night. All the information is right here from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Thursday, September 10th. You got a $10 play one round, $20 play one round, and have a commercial. And you can register at Access Services. That's www.accessservices.org/Ben-and-J/. So come out, chill with us. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Ben can't wait. And you're going to be seeing our posts regarding this actual event and also our Rita's event that's coming up next Friday. So we hope to see you there. Tonight, our awesome community, we have an amazing woman that practically has dedicated her entire life. She's still alive. She's still here with us, thank God. But to those individuals with special needs, sowing her seeds throughout the years, we are now reaping the benefits of what she did. And she continues to give. So who am I talking about? We're talking about Deb Kunsch. Am I saying the last name correctly?
Excellent, Jamel Kunsch. Excellent.
Thank you. She is the co-founder and executive director of ALTEC. If you don't know who that is or what that is, Google it after the show. Don't do it now, but after the show. She earned her bachelor's degree in social work in 1978, founded ALTEC in 1992, and is today recognized as a leader in the human services field. After 30 years, she continues to demonstrate the passion and commitment for her work that helps sustain the quality of ALTEC services. Deb firmly believes that to remain on the cutting edge of delivering diverse and customized services, programs must constantly adapt and develop to satisfy the ever-changing needs of the unique population she serves, especially now in COVID-19. That's a very important point. Deb was instrumental in establishing MAX, M-A-X, the Southeast Suburban Providers Association, serving individuals with ID / DH / autism and / DNA. That's a lot of acronyms, okay? So basically, she serves everybody. She loves everybody. A warm hug for everybody. Currently, she is holding the position of president of the board of directors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause, Ms. Deb Kunsch. Thank you for being on the Ben and Jay show.
Thank you, Jamel. Thank you, Ben, for inviting me to be with you tonight.
Absolutely.
The other
That
thing
was
I was just going to
that
add,
was
the other thing I really love is Rita's water ice. So you
Yeah.
got my attention, guys.
Deb,
Listen,
I just had a
listen.
question. I just had a serious question. What's your favorite water ice at Rita's?
I like vanilla. It reminds me of
What?
those vanilla water ice. It reminds me of the vanilla popsicles that you used to be able to buy in grocery stores. But I like gelatos, you know, when they combine the water ice with the ice cream and
Man, now we're talking.
now,
Now we talk.
yeah, that's right.
Hey Ben, what's your favorite flavor? What's your favorite flavor, Ben?
Ooh, it's a mixture, Mel. I love Swedish fish, but I do like chocolate, like a custard, like Reese's custard.
Listen, I know we have to be brothers from another mother because I love the mix, and my mix is pina colada and Swedish fish. So it is going to be amazing on Friday. I think they'll run out of Swedish fish between both of us, but don't let them know that. But I think so. I think they're going to close that down. They're going to remove that placard away from the front window. And most amazing part about it is that my son Shane will be there too. So watch out. It's going to be a phenomenal time.
And then Jamel I'm also going to bring my cornhole with me.
So we are definitely going to make
I might have to do a Ben and Jay show challenge.
Hey, listen, you don't want no problems with me in cornhole, okay? I'm gonna let you know that I got the skills in that, Ben. So bring it. I'm ready. Okay. Bring it. But anyway, back to this. Thank you for being here. Me and Ben, as you can tell, we could go on all night. This is what we do when we talk, when we're in house together. It's just an amazing vibe. So let's get down to our questions. We got a lot to unpack here about you and what you do in ALTEC. So first question I have for you, even during the midst of the pandemic, people have been able to get jobs through ALTEC's provocations and vocational programs. This is amazing. However, with COVID-19, I imagine that there are fears for the workers and their families as they go back into the workforce. How are you reassuring these individuals and their families that they will be entering a safe place of work? And how are you explaining proper hand washing, social distancing, and the importance of wearing a facial covering to the individuals that may need it just a little bit more?
A lot of information in there, and absolutely there was no textbook for anything that I'm going to talk about right now. To think that we would ever be trying to deliver services during a global pandemic, if you would have said that to me a year ago, I would have said, oh, not in this great country, not in the United States. But we work with well over 225 people, most of those being in our employment service. So that needs vary from person to person. There were some people just like you know, experience being furloughed from their jobs. There were people that, even though work were available, expressed anxieties. When the governor shut down the state during the red phase, many of us, were ordered to stay at home. But with essential workers, they were still needed in our community.
Mhm.
So for folks that expressed the desire to continue looking for work, we were able to find employment opportunities even during the pandemic. One of the stories that I think we're very proud of is an individual that wanted a job. The job was available at a skilled nursing home where, hundreds of residents are. He expressed that he wanted to go in and interview. We supported him through that. And he was actually hired and began working there. I believe it was during the month of May, right in the heart of all of this.
Wow.
But he wasn't alone.
Wow.
He had an employment specialist or a job coach with him. They are the people that try to make sure the individual's matched with not just an occupation or a job they like, but in the right kind of work environment. So it really becomes that person's responsibility to make sure that the individual is entering into a situation where the employer recognizes they must follow CDC precautions. And CDC precautions are the Center of Disease Control. It addresses issues like hand washing, wearing of the mask, the social distancing, but also from an employer, what are they doing to keep their employees safe? Are they offering them the right kind of equipment? Are they making sure that there's sanitation stations throughout the facilities? Are they cleaning the facilities properly? So it encompassed a lot more than just a person finding a job. It required the support. It required the energy and willingness of an employment specialist to say, hey, my needs are second here. I'm going to put my mask on. I'm going to practice what I need to practice. And I'm going to support this fella in this job that he wanted to secure. I remember the first day they were on the job, they were actually doing orientation alone in a room together, which really made me feel good to know that there were not a lot of other contacts that they may have. But overall, we try to keep the number of individuals any one employment service specialist works with at a low count so that they could truly establish a connection and relationship with the individuals. So if an individual expressed emotional fear, we help them put in for a leave of absence. If they were going to be furloughed, we supported them through the unemployment process, which was new to a lot of people and done basically electronically now. So people needed that level of support. So it's that they have that understanding, respect for each other that allowed us to continue even during such a historic time in our country.
Mm-hmm.
How do we teach these things? Well, depending on the understanding how the person learns best, sometimes it was through demonstrating things like the skills needed in hand washing, teaching them those tricks like singing happy birthday twice and keep the lather going. What 6 feet actually look like. So what social distancing meant. So there was demonstrations. There's a lot of videos out there that you guys are already probably know about that are nice learning tools that we used, signage, whatever we could come up as far as teaching that could get the message across to the person in whatever strengths they had. So it's been a somewhat of a slow rebound for individuals, not because jobs aren't out there, but because still of some of the emotional insecurities that all of us, including me, I don't know about you and Ben, but I have some anxieties when I go into even things like the supermarket.
Actually, I wanted to piggyback on what you said real quick, Deb.
Good.
I wanted to give Giant and Southbound a shout out. It was during the pandemic. I was working in a movie theater, and then they shut down for 2 weeks. They shut down, and I was basically like, "What am I gonna do?" So, Giant needed help, and I applied, and I've been working there since March. So I'm just so thankful for them. And I've been knowing the manager, Bob Griffiths, for a very long time. He is a great manager, and he calls me the Orange. I'm the ambassador over there. And I say, "You're the man, Bob." But he goes, "How can I be the man if you're the man?" So Bob is a really great example of how we can help people in our lives.
And how, I'm not sure what job you do there, Ben, but who would have ever thought working at a giant grocery store was considered essential work, and that, you're one of those heroes that they're talking about today, and that you were willing to go out and risk, your own safety to keep food on my family's table is greatly appreciated by all of us, Ben.
Thank you. And Deb, I got Employee of the Month in May.
You were only there 2 months and you got Employee of the Month?
I did.
Yep.
Well, that speaks volumes about you, Ben.
I'm hoping, let's hope I get Associate of the Year.
There you go. You're going to get it.
I am going to get it, Jamel. If I speak into existence, it will happen.
You absolutely are right. And it's always to have goals like that in front of you. But working through this, March, April, May has to put some feathers in your bonnet.
It does.
They have to say, "Hey, look at this guy who started with us at the worst of times. You must show up every day you're scheduled to work."
I am.
And that's what's needed, and then get the job done to the best of your abilities.
And I'm so thankful for our nurses and our frontline workers out there. Shout out to all our frontline workers, nurses, everybody's out there during this time. They are amazing, and you're amazing to me. You guys deserve a vacation, and you guys deserve anything that you want. It's like everybody just needs a vacation right now. I need a vacation right now, Jamel.
I definitely understand and definitely would love a vacation right now, but duty calls, so no vacation for me. Maybe next year. Maybe next year, God willing, I'll be able to go ahead and take a nice vacation somewhere nice.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. That doesn't. But Ben, I always thought doing this radio show was your vacation.
Maybe I could do it in Florida, or I could do it on a cruise ship. That'd be pretty cool.
You watch, Jamel. He'll be dragging you on a cruise ship once they set sail.
I know. With Ben, he'll pop up tomorrow and say, "Hey, we're going overseas," and I'll be like, "What? Like, how? Wait, first off, we can't. We're not allowed. Don't worry about it." I was
just gonna say. Not only aren't you allowed, they don't want you. They don't want us from the United States.
A big alarm will go off in the airport. Trust me, I don't want that to happen to me and Ben, but Ben knows people. Ben knows people. So
he do.
He might be able to squeeze us through. Great response to that question. A lot of the points that was needed from people who are just wondering. I mean, everyday people such as myself, who I am not, on the spectrum, but I do coincide with everything that's going on, and I can relate mostly with what I felt as far as anxiety when it comes down to work. So it is refreshing to know, once again, a perspective that shows us that our awesome individuals are just like us. They feel the same pressures that we do. There's nothing different. It's just the expression may be different, but also too, you got to look at the bravery, such as people like Ben, and I'm sure there's so many others that went to work as if it was nothing. Why? Because they know that they have an important job. They know the importance of what they actually do. So it was great feedback on that. Ben, you got the second question, buddy.
Absolutely. Here we go. So hold on one second. Okay, here we go. ALTEC makes sure that people have real life skills and positive spirits when they go to work. Can you give me an example of this?
Well, I think that what we try to do at ALTEC is instill a culture within our staff that recognizes everybody has value. And if given the right support, the right energy from staff, the right attitude from staff,
Yes.
the individual can succeed in almost everything. I actually have 42 years experience in this field. And the one thing that I have seen increasingly is that people that struggle with learning, be it an individual with autism, an individual with intellectual disabilities, an individual with many learning disabilities, they seem to have quite a bit of experience in failing or struggling to learn. And what I try to do within ALTEC is turn the table on that and make sure that anyone that comes through our doors have a warm and welcoming feeling. And within all of us, even though they're assigned maybe one job coach or one employment specialist, they're given a group of people that believe in them, that know that if we could find the right situation for you, you will succeed. And there are times that the individual's view and our view might be different. I don't know if we have time for a quick story.
Go ahead. You have plenty of time.
Thank you, Ben. But years ago, I met an individual who had muscular dystrophy and learning challenges. And he just graduated from school at the age of 21 and wanted to begin his work. And he came into the office saying he wanted to work at Burger King. I listened, I respected that. I wanted to hear why. And the why was because he had a couple of friends also working there. And maybe at 21, that's an important reason for you to do that. But I began to listen to him and understand all the strengths that this gentleman did have. We started talking about some of the use of technology and computers. And I asked him to give us a little time and see if we might not be able to find something that may hold his interest. And I didn't have anything really in mind at the time. But he decided while he was waiting for us to find the perfect match, he took the job at Burger King. After a period of time, he wasn't happy there, but we were ready to introduce him to office work. And he was hired initially part-time, and he was asked to do some copying, filing, receptionary type work. He excelled in this. He put a sports shirt on every day and a nice pair of slacks. He had a role you would like, Ben, because he was front desk. He was the first person that it was a fitness facility, but the first person that everyone met. Imagine walking into a fitness facility and the first person you meet happens to be a person that has some disabilities as well. So this was pretty exciting for me. But as he was there a relatively short time, maybe a year or two, they began to give him other assignments. But these other assignments required him to work additional hours. He couldn't get all the job done. And I don't know if you've ever heard the term accounts payable or accounts receivable, but in bookkeeping, that is how you bill people and you make sure they return their invoices to you. They gave him what I consider a very important task in a corporation, because you want to make sure that you bill out for everything and you capture all the money that's coming in. Well, Kevin was fortunate to not only excel in that, but his employees said, think about going to the Lansdale School of Business, buddy. You have some real talents in bookkeeping. So Kevin worked there many, many years, went full-time 40 hours. He took that risk, he took that big step and said, I'm going to stop my Social Security benefits. I'm going to go on to their medical and dental plans. And he worked successfully there for very many years. And he had a job coach that believed in him more than maybe he believed in himself. she saw even bigger things for him. And not that there's anything wrong in working at Burger King. I mean, that's a great job. And I think any job you do that you perform and you give 100% is worthy job. But
Right.
this was beginning to develop a career for Kevin, which I think is a little different than just holding a job. And it's that belief in, it's the belief in you, belief in the individuals that come to us, that we know that they can succeed in whatever they want to do. And we will never put you in a situation where you could fail. That's the worst for us.
Deb, you just
then we feel we did a disservice to you.
Deb, you just touched me because one, I was 16 years old when I first applied for my first job. I applied for many different places. One day I was watching the Eagles-Cardinals game, 2014. The phone rang. It was Olive Garden. I picked it up, and it said, "Is this Ben?" And I said, "Yes. Can you come in for an interview?" I screamed. I hung up on my manager by accident, and I got the job because I believed in myself. And I started doing salads, and then started doing breadsticks, and then I started doing busing and hosting. And then after 5 years, I decided to leave my reservation letter. And it's been a great run, but it was really hard in time for me to leave. But they've been such a great inspiration to me. They were my first job, and they loved helping me grow and help me be successful in life.
That's what a good employer should do, is see your potential and be willing to work on it, and not to keep you stagnant. You're good and this is all you can be, but to vision what you could be with the right kind of guidance and support. And Ben, you're a really independent guy. Look at you. You're the reason that we're all here tonight.
And I got that job with no help. I just applied on my own.
That's what I was going to say. You didn't need the help of ALTEC. But there are some folks out there that don't have the same level of confidence that you did, the same initiative that you have. So they will come to ALTEC and ask us to help them find the right job. And sometimes they throw their hands up and say, "I really don't know what I want to do and what I want, what I want to be in the future."
And that's why that's why I'm so
want you to talk then.
That's why I'm so thankful for meeting store managers and store presidents and CEOs, because if I never met Rob Decker at Cedar Point, I would have never got the job at Dorney Park. And shout out to Rob Decker and shout out to Mike Fennell. He is the man. And especially with Bob, if I never shopped at Giant, I would have never gotten the job there. It's just the small things, it's the small steps that happen. And Chick-fil-A, during high school, my last year of high school, I worked at Chick-fil-A. So if I didn't know Mary Ann, I would never work there. And I also worked a little bit at the Cookie Factory. So it's just really cool how I make networking connections with people.
It's pretty impressive that you have, that's such a level of comfort in yourself that you can reach out to others like that. And it's inspirational. So I'm glad you have this talk show, and that possibly there's people out there hearing this and saying, "I can do it. Ben can do it. I can do it." But part of our work in the services that we do is help people establish those type of relationships.
Right.
We work equally with satisfying the employer's need too. They look at our job coaches and employment specialists and think, they're screening and bringing me the best candidates out there for the jobs. They're working for my organization, and they work tirelessly, sometimes right alongside the individuals. Ben, you talked about all the things that you learned to do at Olive Garden, probably with just a little guidance from the staff there. But for some folks that are on the spectrum who have intellectual disabilities, they need much more support than that. They may need us at the job initially all the time that they're there. And we just begin to fade out as they gain more competencies and abilities within their jobs. But we walk into every job with one foot in the establishment and one foot out the door, because the real relationship is something we need to gradually remove ourselves and have it be like Ben, an employer-employee relationship with their boss and themselves.
Yeah, yeah, and Jamie is a really amazing job coach, and I love Jamie. Shout out to Jamie. He is the man, the myth, the legend.
Jamie's not on the call, but there's a lady named Shannon who works with Jamie. I just saw Shannon's on the call. She's one of our most talented employment specialists out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
She actually supported some folks at Giant, and she didn't always go in the establishment. Sometimes they would actually meet in the parking lot during, these different stages of red and yellow and green. But just to know that she's there, whether physically or emotionally there, just a phone call away, I think gave many people the confidence that I can stay, I can work through this. I will get through this day, and Shannon was here, and I'll get through tomorrow, and Jamie will come. And it's just sort of the support that all people need.
Absolutely.
So once again, it's funny how you can actually see the likeness between individuals, because we're all people, we're all humans. It's just that some people need a little bit more assistance, but don't we all need help? We constantly ask everybody for help, regardless of who we are. So you have an individual like Ben who, confident in anything that he does, amazing confidence. And isn't that the one thing that you'll hear several life coaches say, that a man always needs to have confidence? And yet Ben has it. Pure confidence to walk in anywhere, and he is guaranteed to put a smile on your face, or at least make you remember who he is.
Yes.
And he sets out to get a job. It's simply amazing. Me, I can remember going for a lot of jobs, and in the forefront, I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna get this job. It'll be ridiculous for me not to get this job. But deep down inside, I'm like, okay, what if there's someone there who's more qualified for me? Ben doesn't have that. So you see, there's a lot of things that we can learn from these awesome individuals like Ben, individuals like my son. I can't wait for him to actually start looking for jobs. Hopefully that'll be soon, the way he eats. But
hey, Jamel, how old's your son?
My son is 12. He looks like 16, but he's 12. He's 12. And he's interested in, trains and everything. He loves school, which is an amazing thing. But I can see him as an architect or even as an engineer designing trains. I mean, it's just something about, our individuals, that whatever they love, they do with passion. And isn't that what we strive for when it comes down to work? Is we want to do something with a passion. And they do everything with passion. So it's just hearing Ben and then hearing you, Deb, and talking about, just going in for a job, and people like Shannon who assist people, just give them that extra oomph. It is the same thing that we look for. Us, people who are not on the spectrum, same thing we look for. So please do not be judgmental when you see individuals with disabilities, individuals that have autism. Note that there is something that you can learn from them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was going to give a shout out to all the companies who hire people with autism, like different organization groups out there. So they are amazing. Shout out to all of you guys who do such a great job.
Wow. Salute to
doing everything that's going on. It's just
absolutely. That's the one thing I probably noticed the most since I started ALTEC, when I look back at 1992, is that more employers are giving folks this opportunity.
Yes.
That have never done it before. I remember such hesitancy. How will it affect the morale of my other workers? How will my customers respond to this? Well, haven't we shown them that, if anything, it by adding to the diversity of the workforce, it just makes it a better work environment for their coworkers, and customers appreciate that. There's no hiding people with disabilities anymore in our country, but putting them out there, and as you said, Jamel, trying to figure out how we can couple their passions in life with maybe that career that will pay them a livable wage.
Yes.
You know, because as we get a little older and our responsibilities increase, you know, I don't know, Ben, do you have a goal of ever getting your own apartment or?
Well, and this is the thing that me and Dan, like, what are we going to do, like, when we get older? I have a vision of, like, my brother works for Bayana, and shout out to Dan. Bayana is a great company. They do such a great job. Their life rehabilitation coach teaches me how to work out. He does dance school with me. Dance school is a great way of helping people knowing what to do. And he has 2 other clients in that job. So it's just really, really incredible. How he does it, it's his passion. And I love what he's doing.
Well, that's terrific. I said, I will often say, when I entered this field, you know, social work isn't the best paying field, but that was the career I chose to go into. My passion was cultural anthropology, but that's another day, another story. But I decided that social work was something that I can embrace. And I stumbled into working in this field because in social work, you could do everything from clinical social work, hospitals, with probation and children and youth services. But I started working with folks with intellectual disabilities, and I just grew to love it. But I wasn't making the kind of money I think that I thought a college graduate should make. So I ventured into doing something a little bit better. Totally unhappy there. And after about, I'm going to say 6 to 12 months, I decided that I was going to pursue my passion, and that's working with folks that have different ways of learning and have different ways sometimes of looking at the world, and maybe need me in different ways too. There's something I must be getting out of it, some sort of reward for this. But I always say it knocked my socks off 42 years ago when I started work in this field. And to this day, it continues to do that. But
That's
like
amazing.
Just being a human being like the 2 of you guys, there's some mornings. I'm not saying I jump out of bed at 5:45 and go, yippee, it's a Monday work day. But it's something I can really put 100% into it. Do you ever do that, Ben? Get up at 5:45 and say, it's a Monday morning.
Hooray, it's work day. It's kind of like SpongeBob. I'm ready. I'm just kidding.
I don't think I actually do that. But to come home every day and feel tired and know why you're tired because you worked hard, you've done something meaningful with your life, and hopefully I've made a bit of a difference for folks, gives me that sense of accomplishment, and I guess that feeling of passion that I continue to have today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow.
Definitely. Your answers, Deb, are going a little bit into the motivational, inspirational side. There's a lot to just look at and to understand when you're talking. I think a lot of people, including myself, need to hear things like that. We often look for jobs because the income ratio is good, in opposed to what our hearts tell us what we need to do. So that's not only for our awesome individuals, but that's for me, that's for some of our attendees here for this webinar. It's for a lot of people. Do what your heart desires, your passion. And sometimes you have to remove that dollar sign, you know? You have to remove
I also was in a fortunate situation, Jamel, where I married a wonderful man who said to me, follow your passion. He did. He was teaching at the time too. But we had that joint income that allowed us then to have the home we wanted to have, to begin to have a family. So there was
There you go.
also that sense of responsibility that comes with the passion. And sometimes we'll have people walk in, and some of the passions they have, we struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do we find a career that encompasses their passion? And I don't ever want to be a dream buster. You know, that's the last thing I want to do, is to interfere with somebody's dreams in life. But sometimes we have to have hard conversations. Like when my father said to me, now again, you're going to do what with your degree in social anthropology? And you say you don't want to teach it. What are you going to do? So there is some, with the employment specialists, and I wish Shannon could join us, often have to say, okay, how can we use this passion, you know, to make you feel good about yourself? There's a fella up in Pottstown, his name is Harry. Harry loves automobiles.
Oh.
You know, Harry, I'm sure, would like to be a mechanic, but currently doesn't have the necessary training for that type of work. But we were able to find him a job as a car detailer, along with everyone else that works around cars. And then to complement that, Ben, maybe like some of the things you do, we helped him get a volunteer job at the Boyertown Historic Auto Museum, where he volunteers an hour and a half a week. And he's around all these antique cars, learning about from the men and ladies that this is their passion, and tell them the history of the automobile. So although Harry is paid for the auto detailing, I think his life is more satisfied, because not just working with the guys that work around cars, but now he also has learned about this historic auto museum and the history of some of these automobiles. And it was just like a perfect match for Harry. So sometimes we'll say to people, yeah, you like automobiles, but it requires, if you're going to be a mechanic, to go through this training. Do you want to dedicate that time and the energy? There's resources out there.
Actually,
There's loans.
I was going to say, Harry needs to connect with my friend Nick Arentrio. Nick was a guy who I went to high school with, and he loves cars.
Yeah.
So I think Harry and Nick really need to talk.
Well, that's a possibility. You'll have to come to some of our, hopefully we'll have live social functions again. We have some group parties. And I'll make sure Jamie will invite you, Ben. Jamie will invite you. And maybe we can connect some of these friends you have with.
If you ever need help with some of these events, I don't mind like helping you out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We will remember that offer.
Definitely. Ben and Jay will definitely be in the building to help you guys out. So,
well, thank you. It sounds exciting. Thank you.
At all. No problem. Hey, Ben, you got the next question, buddy. You got question
I do.
3.
Lots of people who work for you need extra help. Do you partner with other organizations to help?
Oh, yeah, of course we do. ALTEC primarily provides employment and what we call day supports. It might be where they come to one of my 2 facilities. We have a licensed older adult facility in Hatfield. It's dual licensed. And please stop me if I use initials that you might be unfamiliar with, because I hate when people do this, but it's called ODP, the Office of Developmental Program, gives us most of the funding that we need to sustain operations there. And then we have a facility, a large facility in Colmar. But in the facilities are geared for people that need more of a holistic approach in life. They're not quite ready to work. They are eager to learn and continue their own personal development. They might need our support with simple things like taking care of themselves, grooming, dressing, crossing the street. But like Jamel implied, we all need supports. We've had some new programs, electronic software introduced to us in recent weeks. And let me tell you, I think I'm IT challenged, but I've been asking for a lot of support in different areas in recent weeks. But for individuals in what we call more of our facility and then community learning. So I'd like to talk about work, vocational training, but I want to talk about the individuals that need a little bit more support with us.
Okay.
Staff are there to teach them how to take care of themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We feel as you learn and develop, so we're continually trying to teach them new things. Yeah. Be it that it's through communications, for the use of technology, which iPads have become a true blessing for folks that have limited communications and limited ways to interact with others. Introducing people to like emails where they could write friends that they can't see every day. We're a bit spoiled because we could jump in a car and go visit a friend or pick up a phone and make that call. Some of the folks we support that do not have verbal skills or need help even just hitting a button and making that telephone call or sending that email message is something that we've worked really hard in recent years, is trying to teach people to connect in multiple medias. And this is a good example of one. Through the pandemic, we've been providing educational, socialization, connection for people through remote Zoom sessions like this, where we might get anywhere from 4 or 5 to 8 or 10 friends together on a call. And sometimes we get some compensation from the government for that, but most of the times we're just, thank goodness we're in a healthy spot that we can continue giving back to individuals and say, just join us, just be a part of this. We don't need compensation. Tuesday, I sat in on a group of older adults going through like a history trivia game.
Wow.
Now, how much fun is that then? Sitting in front of a television and being waited to call to lunch, but actually engaging with your friends, learning and participating in life. And if we can do that versus have them still, not feeling isolated, because regrettably, like most employment establishments, we can't bring everyone back to our facility. So we only have about 20% capacity in the facility. So that means 80% of the other individuals are waiting for the call to return, or we're actually going in their homes, helping them in their homes. And it could be anything from helping them get their morning bath and breakfast together. We're seeing a different side of people. To going for a walk after that, to having breakfast, teaching them to prepare some simple meals. For them, it's a learning and it's a companionship and it's a relationship. For the families, we are simply God sent. We are giving them that break that they haven't had for months. We have been the emotional support for families during the whole pandemic. There wasn't 1 week that went by that if an individual wasn't in one of our facility services, that a family didn't get a call from us. How are you managing? How's the individual doing? Some calls were 5 minutes, others were 25 minutes, because we saw where some families, we were their emotional support. Not everyone has large extended families and friends, and there's people. I don't know how old Ben's parents are, but I know my mother's 89. Some of the parents we're working with are in their 70s and 80s and still preparing breakfast for the individuals, helping them dress, helping them groom. And if we can go in there and give them any kind of support, I think that's why I started ALTEC, because you always have a choice when you start a corporation, profit or nonprofit. And I knew from the very beginning that this was going to be more for my community. And it's really, it's not that I'm doing any great stuff, but I have 60 staff that share my enthusiasm, share my passion, share my desire to make a difference in people's lives. They're the ones going in the community. They're the ones going in the workplace. You know, I'm just making sure that operations are continuing so that they can continue to live.
Yep.
But I say we always assign an employment specialist or job coach, but they're given a circle or a team of people there for them. There's 40 agencies like ALTEC that are members of that association that I'm fortunate to have my hands in. So some of those associations will provide residential care. Some will provide care for more of the medically involved. Some support something like foster care that's called shared living. So there's a variety of agencies that do a variety of different services for people. I just always connected on that employment and day front for some reason. There's something about a person getting their paycheck, especially the first paycheck. Do you remember that, Ben?
That first
Oh
one.
yeah.
Do you remember it, Jamel? That first paycheck.
Oh man, that was
Well,
great.
I remember it. I think I was more disappointed at the taxes that was taken out rather than what I was left with.
Wait, Jamel, I had a question for you. What was your very first job?
Ooh. Oh man, you're taking me back. I'm a little bit of a dinosaur here, so you're taking me back. Let me see if I can remember. Okay, so if anybody is from Philadelphia, Uptown, which is considered Mount Airy, yeah, like Mount Airy, Ogons Avenue, around there, Wadsworth Avenue. There was a linen store, and I was hired because my cousin knew the owner's son, and it's called Brown's Linens. I'm not sure if it's still there, but he hired me, and I was their like stock boy. I was working in the basement, which was their stock room. I have to say, it was the most boring job ever that I had. I never got over pillows and linens. I'm petrified of in the linen aisle of any store now. But I have to say that the Brown family really took care of their employees, took care of me. Me and the owner's son, we cracked up, we joked around a lot, and his parents were older. I'm not sure if they're living. God bless their souls. So they're a little bit more set in their ways. So they would talk to me. They'll give me something to do, and then he'll come behind me and be like, "Well, he really wanted you to do that, or she wanted you to do that. You're doing a good job. Don't worry about it." So it exposed me to the workforce. It exposed me to different personalities as far as management. It exposed me to how to be knowledgeable in my job, what to do, and communication, which was the most important thing. Now, not to bring up anything where we have to distinguish diverse groups, but this was a Jewish family who obviously was a Caucasian race, and it allowed for a boy who was raised in North Philly to really speak to a different race, someone who's from a different total background, and be able to get along with them. So I've been fortunate enough where I have been able to reach out and to connect with so many different people, so many different backgrounds, so many different races. So my heart, I could say, my soul is so big. It allows for me to connect on ways that other people aren't able to do. So I am forever grateful to the Brown family. If they happen to view the airwaves and see this, thank you guys. But I never want to see another piece of linen thanks to you guys. I never want to buy a pillow or anything thanks to you guys. But I loved it.
Deb, I had a question for Deb, and this is the same one I asked Jamel. What was your first job, Deb?
My first job was at a swimming pool concession stand. My cousin ran it. So
Wow.
it was a pretty,
wow.
okay, it wasn't boring, Jamel, because I was in the heart of the activities. People would come. My expertise there, and maybe that's why I said vanilla water ice, was vanilla snow cones. Before
Ooh.
Rita's, there
Oh,
was a thing
wow.
called snow cones,
Yeah.
and that was
There you
our
go.
big seller. Was you shaved the ice, you pumped the syrup, sticky syrup, and you opened the screen door, handed the person and then the bees attacked you. But it was, thank you for asking me that, Ben. But what I like in Jamel's story too, it wasn't the most stimulating of jobs for him. He actually said it was a bit boring. But that environment, the workplace environment that the Browns created for you was enough to satisfy you. So that's why I say sometimes it's not just the task we're assigned, but what the employer makes of that task and how they help you get through it.
Definitely.
How about you, Ben? What was
Definitely.
your first job?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Olive
Yeah.
Garden.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, I can see Ben.
You know what my dad's first job was working at Kmart and 7-Eleven.
Okay.
Nice.
That's nice.
Hey, listen, there's no one that I've met that had the most glamorous first job. Some people are fortunate, but most people had to learn what it was to actually make a dollar. Make a good wage off of hard work. So I've had plenty of side jobs, part-time jobs, full-time jobs. I've experienced it all. I used to operate trains. I know how to operate an actual
Wow.
train. So
Wow.
I mean, there's plenty of jobs that I've had, and you will never know. But they all shape you at the end to be the
That's it.
person and the professional that you are. I mean, plain and simple.
Did you work for
So
Amtrak?
it's no, actually, it was Patco. It was
Okay.
the train that goes from New Jersey to Philadelphia. I used to be a train operator with them. So, yep, that was me.
And I think
That was me.
what you've also described is how you've built your resume from these big, the jobs in the beginning to where you are now more marketable because you've had some jobs, people that could attest to your work habits, to your work skills, say you're a good person or not. And that
Mhm.
is something that we try to also ingrain in folks. The first job may not be that ideal job. It may not
Mhm.
be that job as that major artist or the major, airplane pilot or whatever it is. But if jobs can help you lead to that. Like I was not born a CEO. I worked hard for many years before people respected me enough that when I wanted to start a company, they said, she might be able to do this. She might be able to pull this off.
Exactly.
I'm just not sure. Um, so we have to work with people because I know, Jamel, you and I, we were sort of talking about the passion in things, but
Mhm.
sometimes, just like with you, Ben, maybe you take jobs so that you get the paycheck, but what you're passionate about is tonight.
Yeah.
But that
Mhm.
paycheck puts gas in the car, allows you to have some spending money and other things that you need.
And Deb,
And
you just brought me up an interesting story.
good.
I'm sorry if we've been going off script, but you brought me up an interesting story. One time, I got a tip at Olive Garden, and I met a family with autism, and I said I'm gonna donate money to the autism instead of keeping it.
That's
Oh, nice.
incredible.
See,
Yeah,
that is. See, there
yeah.
you go. I
That's
mean,
terrific. Did you share that with them?
I did not. I met. It was on Easter Sunday. I was busing, and it was this family
wow.
who had a son with autism. And I said, "Does your son have autism?" And I said, "I do too." We were talking, and then they said, "Here you go. You made our day." And I said, "No, no, no." I said to myself, "I'm donating right to the autism."
That's
There you
terrific.
go.
And you gave them hope.
I gave them
Easter
hope.
Sunday, you gave them hope.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The sun was rising that day for them because they saw the potential that their child has. They weren't being stereotyped that you're going to be home, and no one would call it a burden, but that they're going to have to care for, you the rest of your life. Look at you. You're leading a fairly normal life with that cell phone in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to look for that question.
He definitely is. One thing that I do believe Ben understands, and this is the reason why he started this show. This is the reason why he is so lively and so easy, personable, easy to approach, is that he does recognize the transition where he was before to where he's at now. And he sees so many parents and kids out there, including myself, where I wonder, okay, will Shane be what the world considers a fully functioning male? And,
Yes.
and even though there are certain things that, of course, Ben needs assistance with, there are so many more that outweigh that. He is a fully functional male in my aspect. And he gives me hope, just being his co-host, to know that my son will be okay. He will thrive, and he will be a pillar within this community and also outside this community. So Ben, you are definitely the mayor. You are definitely the leader. I think going into 2021, we need to make the mayor the president. I think we need to go ahead and just go ahead and just push that up and make the mayor the president. I think you're leading a new nation, that
Ben, you
leading
wouldn't want that job. Trust me, you don't want that job.
Did you hear about this? Speaking of which, did you hear about this kid who has autism? His name is Xavier, and he has autism, and he's doing an internship at the White House, and he wants to run for president.
Well, that's good. That's great. Who would have thought?
That is great. Who would have thought?
Friends on Facebook. He is an amazing young man. He met President.
I'm happy about that, because sometimes when I look at statistics,
he is amazing.
That is great. When I look at statistics from time to time, and I see that only between about 14 and 17% of the population with disabilities are actively employed. And since the government is the #1 employer in this country, I see them conspicuously absent from the government in any way, shape, or form. So I'm so glad that somebody has a presence in, be it the White House or the Capitol or the Senate, that could also pave the way there for others, because they can't be absent from the view. It's nothing like making a connection with the right person for all of us to get ahead. So maybe, what was his name? Xavier?
Yeah, I have him on Facebook. I found him on Facebook. I read an article about him with the Attorney General making a bill in Michigan, and then I told Jamel about this. Me and Jamel talked to him for like an hour.
Yep.
And the neat thing is that Attorney General that is working with Xavier now doesn't look at autism as just a word, that thing that's he maybe knows a definition of, but it's a live person. It's Xavier. It's not just a situation you were born with. So I think whenever we can get in their faces and make a relationship with the individuals that we support and elected officials, it means so much more than just simply sitting and talking in my office behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
So this is exciting. I'll have to Google him myself.
Great information. He is a great guy, and we're looking forward to possibly having him on the show, just to give us that one-on-one understanding of what goes on in the White House, and the capacity in which he understood what his purpose was. I'm definitely looking forward to hear that, as far as him being in the White House, what impact he actually had and what he's looking to do afterwards. As Ben said, he's obviously looking to get into politics, which is simply amazing to even consider and even think about, especially with the times that we are in. But once again, they go in, our awesome children, they go in with that mindset, as in saying that this is mine. This is what I'm here to do. And I mean, we can definitely learn something from them. Every single one of them has a special power, and we definitely need to learn from them. Deb,
But and Jamel, I have to, I don't want you to think I'm just throwing a compliment out there, but so many parents need to learn from you as well. Sometimes we have to cut those wings. You know, we give them the roots, we give them the values, we give them the information they need, but we eventually have to cut those wings and let them try experiences. So even for your 12-year-old son, I hope, like you and me, by the time he hits that 14, 15, 16, he's doing some summer jobs or he's beginning to experience responsibilities.
Oh, he's pretty, I have to say, between my household and his mother's household, responsibilities as far as washing dishes, household chores, making his bed, cleaning up after himself. He is good. He is good with the working aspect. We're definitely going to work on that. I think he will be phenomenal, especially if it's a job that he likes. But I'm excited as well.
But that's a mind shift.
It is.
Because what you're doing is you're already establishing within him certain duties that he's accountable to make a household work better. Same thing an employer is going to do. But if we just continually treat individuals like we're here to care for, we're about caring for you. And again, people are all over, not just the spectrum, but also in their level of support they need from us with intellectual disabilities. So some folks, of course, it's physical, some have cognitive limitations, but always pushing. What's the most we can get out of an individual, regardless of their age, regardless of their current capabilities? It's that belief that there could be more. And sometimes within families, I want to say what I see happening is they get a bit tired in the sense they're exhausted from working and exhausted for all the responsibilities at home, that it becomes easier to do for than teach. And that's where I'd like to step in and say, I get it. I don't know if I could be 65 years old working a full-time plus job and then going home to shower and take care of my 40-year-old child. I was fortunate. My child's independent, has a life of her own. I'm glad she includes me as much as she does in it. But, I think young families, if there's one thing that I could offer a suggestion to young folks like yourself, is that talk to each other, learn from each other, share these types of experience, because even our service industry is changing, and the way it is today will not be the same way in 5 and 10 years.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I have to say that being able to put myself out there to speak to families, because I've been through so much turmoil, and trying to just bend that curve for them, not to go down the same road, is the utmost importance when it comes to me and their family. I just want to see everybody's family succeed, get over these roadblocks, these bumps in the road, but most importantly, the children. The children are going to be the ones who are going to see the sacrifice the most. People always say that individuals on the spectrum are not paying attention; they're in their own world. Oh no, they are paying attention. You just may not understand how they are paying attention, but they are paying attention to you.
Yes.
So everything that you say you do, they are very aware of that, and I'm noticing that every day with my son. Just the conversations that we have, the building blocks that me and him provide for each other, and quite frankly, I wish I would have noticed that earlier in my life. But you know what? I'm here now. I'm learning it, and everyone is learning with me, which is the best way that I could possibly, do my passion, and that's just giving back
That's
for people
terrific.
to understand.
And he's so much a teenager. Because all teenagers
Yes.
act like they're not listening and know better and aren't
Yes.
responsive. So again, I think sometimes
Age.
we look for the differences, but it's really this, when you talk, it was like, oh my gosh, the similarities between all teenagers.
Yes, that is that one moment that that thin line disappears and they are all alike. So he's
They're
preteen,
all,
and I'm gonna give him that leeway, but they're all alike. But Deb, definitely what we want to do is we want to allow for our audience to ask you some questions. The conversation has been amazing. So we want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone at this time. So this is the time that we allow everyone to go ahead and ask questions. You may see yourself being muted on the screen, but I unmuted everybody, so you can unmute yourself. Ask Deb a question if you have it. I just ask that you be respectful of everyone who's asking a question, and just go ahead whenever you're ready. So please just say your name before asking Deb, myself, or Ben a question.
Hi, Jamel. This is Glenn, Ben's
Hey,
dad.
Dad.
Hey, Glenn.
I have two questions for Deb. One, it kind of goes with Jamel's son, who's 12, and something that we have faced is when do you or what is available to start training Jamel's son to, like he's saying, doing chores around the house, but is there things out there that they can do, job shadowing, those kind of things? I mean, 12 is probably kind of young. I know
Yes.
McDonald's is at 14, you can start getting a job.
Barney Park's 14.
But I'm just saying for people out there that are, in that early stage, and we'll say, high school age kind of thing, that where they're looking for a job. What do you have, like a checklist or some suggestions of trying to get them geared up for that?
Can I call you Glenn?
Yes.
Glenn, I don't have a magical checklist, and I don't know the right age, and that seems to vary from people to people. Some folks, the 15 and 16 is great. Others, some maybe social maturity has to happen and they're not at that level of responsibilities yet. But I think in stories you heard us talk about is that our very first job, like mine was a cousin that hired me. My father helped me find my second job. Sometimes it's approaching people that are in our family and circle of friends that already know our family, that care about the success of our children, and just suggest, would it be possible to spend X number of times or a couple half days just to learn what it's like to do various jobs? Because what I find out there is most people know occupations like being a nurse or being a teacher, but then when it comes to some other jobs out there, they really never thought about it until they're exposed to it. Now, as your adult child gets older, there's an office out there called the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation that offers experiences where they even subsidize employers for allowing the individual to have exposure to jobs. We actually don't work with children. We only work with people over the age of 21, but I know it's out there and I know it's vibrant and I know it's happening. But I also say, look at your circle, see who it is out there. Now, the one service we do offer to people that may be more at that 18, 19 years of age is something that is a type of community work assessment where we will actually identify, we have connections, employer connections out there, and we take them into 3 or 4 different jobs with 3 or 4 very different duties and 3 or 4 very different environments and try to help them sort through, what did you like about this type of job? What did you like in this environment? How did you find coworkers here? And then we assess all that and we try to help them gain direction. for the future. And it also guides us in what we call that job development phase, where we're going to look for the job. Shannon, do you want to add anything?
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Glenn.
A quick story on Ben, and I love what you're saying about getting, you know, the parents and to I'll say let go of the string, right? To let the kids go. Ben, I guess he was about 12, maybe 14. He loves eggs in the morning. Well, I got tired of making eggs, so I'm like, I'm going to teach him how to make eggs.
Yippee, I'm clapping.
So he makes his own eggs in the morning, right? So there's things like that we as parents, sometimes we just need the motivation. We know what needs to get done, but it's just, you know, we want to keep our kids safe. I mean, that's for every one of our kids, whether they have special needs or not. And then the special needs add a little bit to it. So it's just, you just have to, and I just appreciate the show, you just have to let them grow. You know, somebody's told me a long time ago, you know, failure is part of life. And if you don't fail, then you'll never succeed, right? Wow. So, you know, that's really important to let that go. And then one other shout out that Ben would appreciate is I work for a company called SAP, and they're a software company, and they have a program called Autism at Work. And their initiative is to bring in the people that can't get jobs to help them with jobs, right? Within the software community. So there's companies out there. They started this about 6 years ago. Microsoft and some of the other big companies use them as guides to help them figure out what and they can, you know, Jamel, I come back to your son. He looks at trains or he looks at different things. These guys look at code, and I'm a software developer. I could look at code all day long and not find an issue. They look at code for 10 seconds and they find an issue. It's just the way their brain works. And we're finding that they are comfortable in that. Now, you know, just like everything else, can you expect them to talk to customers? Maybe not. Well, you've got other people that can talk to customers. So, but from the back end, they're doing great. And just a big shout out. So Ben, I see Ben smiling. So, you know, that's just a shout out for that. The companies are doing this and seeing the benefit of putting those things in place.
And Glenn, that's what most companies need to see, just a success story happen one time. But when they realize they've not been tapping into a resource that's right there, right in their own communities, you know, it's almost a step back to say, shame on me. Why didn't I do this 5 or 10 years ago?
Exactly. And by the way, they're not doing, I mean, there's some helps there from a social standpoint because, you know, jobs or you know, how do you navigate to the cafeteria and taking breaks and those kind of things. But there's no, you know, special treatment for them. If they can't do the job, they're not going to get hired. You know, they have to do the job. It's important to do the job. So I said enough. I'm going to let some other people ask some questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Glenn.
I was going to say Glenn, but I was like,
Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. Once again, just being a supporter. And this guy right here, Ben, thank you for him. You and Sandy have done an amazing job with Ben. Continue to do it. So thank you so much.
Deb, I have a question.
Hi, Linda.
Oh.
Hi, how are you? You've had your organization a long time. How many employers are connected with you in Montgomery County?
Oh, I would say at least 50. Shannon, do you have any idea? I'm going to say 50, 60, 65. I have never really counted. We keep a big list up of our employers because we want them to be recognized when they come in our facility, but it's continually expanding too. So if anybody out there knows of someone that maybe needs some talented workers, and like Jamel mentioned and Ben mentioned, you know, people that will really be on that job, are loyal and committed to their companies, refer them to ALTEC, please. Could I also do one announcement or one?
Yes, you may. You may.
Linda knows this, Shannon, I don't, but in July, we became a formal member of the Access family. ALTEC is
There you
now
go.
a division of Access Services. We are so proud to be a part of that organization. For years, I have known their upper leadership. We share values, we share missions. And in this day and age when, well, as Linda knows, donations are being limited, funds are being carefully monitored. If we could let go of some of that administrative burden and let us do services, I'm the happier for it. So
There you go.
that's my big announcement that happened in
That's an
July.
amazing.
Well,
That's an
thank you.
amazing.
We're happy that they accepted us.
Oh, they, of course. I'm happy they accepted me. So I can just imagine how much you're excited. So, welcome to the family. I mean, this
Thank
is
you.
only getting stronger and greater. And what more than a strong and prosperous community? And I'm speaking about
Right. And
the awesome community. No,
I think
this
the
is
one
what
area
we're doing.
was employment, that they've developed so much in behavioral health with, the supports to individuals emotionally and intellectual disabilities. They liked what we were doing with employment, and that was something they were eager to learn more about and grow. They're in 11 counties, I'm in 2. So if we can help them grow employment supports throughout the 11 counties they're in, then maybe I could rest.
Definitely.
It's a
I
real
don't know
desire
about
that I
resting
have to
though.
do. Thank you.
I don't know about resting, Deb, because you're a go-getter. I don't know if that's in your cards right now.
No,
I think,
no, no. You look much more bright-eyed than I do today.
Deb, we unpacked so much here. The conversation was so fluid that we only didn't get to know you on a professional level, but we got to know who you are on a personal level, and that just made ALTEC actually shine even more. And now, with the culmination of both coming together, Access Services and ALTEC, it's only but more positivity that can come from it, and the strength behind it is something that is definitely needed all across the board for those on the spectrum and not on the spectrum as well. So we appreciate your time coming here, being with us today. As far as the winners, we're unable to actually pick the winners right now, but everyone that registered for this webinar, we have each and every one of your email addresses. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pick the winner. Ben is going to pick the winner tomorrow or tonight with our assistant Lee. We're going to wrap this show up, but before we do, Ben, you got some encouraging words that you would like to say to our attendees?
Let's be kind to each other this week, and I just want to say having autism is not a bad thing, and it doesn't characterize who we are. Everyone is unique and special, just like a rainbow. I would like to thank Access Services. I would like to thank Jamel Owens. I would like to thank Deb Kunsch for coming on today. ALTEC, you guys are amazing. Shout out to Kaylee for helping me out, and Alyssa, you're the best. And for everyone out there, and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
There you go. There you go. Got it. Listen, God first before everything. Before I get into not as heartfelt as Ben, but my last words, my encouraging words, just want to say that the opinions expressed on the Ben and Jay show pertain to the individual perspectives and do not necessarily represent the stance of Access Services Incorporated and its affiliates. So I got that part out the way. Also, just remember our Minute to Win It game that's coming up September 10th.
And
We're going to get more information about that. And Rita's, join us next Friday, Rita's Water Ice in Montgomeryville. It's 762 Horsham Road. Come out between the hours of 6 to 9, chop it up with us, have some water ice, some pretzels. You know, we're going to be giving away some prizes. You never know. But most importantly, just come out, hang out with us. Find out what our awesome community is about. And I guess what I want to say is, it goes back to that old saying, never judge a book by its cover. And I implore anybody, maybe there might be an employer listening to this, or maybe will see this. How is your staff being evaluated? How effective is your staff? We often go for characteristics that we do know will actually support our business needs, but are your business needs just financial, or is financial and personal? If you ever met an awesome individual, you know that they only exclude just the exuberance of who they are, the love, the passion, the kindness, everything, the fundamentals that a business is built on, they have. So why are you not employing more individuals with disabilities? Is there a reason? Is there something that you can talk to with your HR person to possibly get more of our awesome individuals all across the board into your place of business? And if so, what are you waiting for? There is no better time than now. There's organizations like ALTEC out there. There's organizations like Access Services that can help you open your minds and your ideas to actually include these individuals. Time is ticking. I already talked for about 2 minutes, and that could have been enough time for you to glance over at least 2 or 3 applications. So I just want you guys, you employers, to just step up and employ our awesome individuals. All right. This is the Ben and Jay Show. We're taking up a lot of your time, but enjoy your weekend. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Deb, you are amazing. And I got it wrong.
You're part of our family, Deb.
42 years. She's killing the game out here. You guys got to step up, all right? So, hey, thank you.
Thank you,
we
guys.
love you.
Friday night.
Thank you for everything. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you.